better.
It's going to change anyway.
It always changes, yeah. It's always changes.
Thank you.
Start ist frei, Track ist clear und während dann die beiden unterwegs sind, zeigen wir wieder unsere Sponsorenvideos hier auf der Leinwand.
Good morning and welcome back to Winterberg in Germany. After a relatively clear Saturday, it has snowed overnight. About 10 centimetres of snow has fallen and continues to fall at a fairly steady and heavy rate. Well, good morning everybody. Lot to get through today. We've got women's bobsleigh and then the four-man at lunchtime, but will the weather allow it? We're going to try and get the racing underway and see what happens. Well, the challenge remains the same. It's just a little more difficult in the snow. The 1,300-metre Altum Winterberg track, one of the oldest artificial tracks in the business. Short, fairly steep run out of the start, down into this little zero kink, which causes so many problems, onto the old part of the track, built in 1970. Curve 1 and then curve 2. A 3-wave omega-shaped corner, uphill into 3, over the brow, continuing up to 4, and then dropping back into 5, plunging downhill here about 3 stories, really accelerating the sled for the first time. Corner 7, the Kreisel. If you don't tap in 6, get a nice line in there, come out straight into 8, and then the big corner 9. Tiny little dink in 10 there, and then corner 11. Now this is key to speed all the way down to the finish line, through 12 and 13, that fast crossover, and then corner 14, the Zeal curve, the finish curve, uphill, 2 pressure corner, and out into, well, sunshine in our POV camera, but back into the snow for our racers. After the first 2 races of the championship of the season, in Altenburg and Sigulda, it is Germany's Lara Nolte who leads the standings, and 20 sliders so far have been in the races. Got a bigger field here today, 22, including 2 debutantes. Question is, do we get it all off or not? Well, you can see the conditions here. There's Lara Nolte, like everybody else, warming up in the slushy car park. And down the service road, actually, the access road. Well, the forerunners have gone down. And I think we are just hearing from the jury what is the story. I think we are going to go. Most of the track is covered, not all. And the real problem, of course, of falling snow, as everybody knows, like with rain, it doesn't fall with the same consistency throughout a 1-hour period. So let's take a look at our start list. Well, the USA's Sylvia Hoffman kicks us off. Adele Nicol will be sitting in her sleds, recovering from a foot injury after her foot got run over the last time that she was pushing in Sigulda. And then we will get through to our 24 sleds. Newcomers Deborah Annen, who was in the medals yesterday in the monobob, and Lauren Jolo from the Netherlands. Again, it's going to be tough work for everybody, but let's get this underway. 2 heats, both should count. And there is the option, of course, if it really starts to pelt with snow, to not just delay this heat, but possibly even wait for a hole in the weather. And this is where the weather forecasters really do get leaned on quite heavily. As with most weather patterns, they can be significantly affected by hills and mountains, and we are in a fairly hilly region just to the northeast of the Ruhr Valley. And you can see again that this live pictures, you can see how thick the snow is in the track. Now, they've had a big mechanical snow blower. Everybody's been sweeping, they've been using snow blowers, but at the moment it is not raceable. Sylvia Hoffman and Bailey Golden were the first to get ready to go. You can see there Cynthia Appiah and Skylar Seaman. They were due to be second off for Canada. Adele Nicol of Great Britain with a new brakewoman was due to go off 3rd. Ashley Nelson making her not just World Cup but bobsledding debut. Looks like the athletes have been told to go back to the changing rooms, so this is, oh no, the Canadians are going back out, the Americans are on the block, but goodness me, it's going to be another couple of minutes at least before this is really drivable. You can see tracks in the snow. Those are from the spur bobs, the forerunners, including the Allianz safety bob. Christoph Langen there on the right-hand side. Moving across to keep an eye on proceedings. But Sylvia Hoffman and Bailey Golden getting ready to get our race underway here. Well, she's going to be the first indication of what we can expect from competition. The idea of the forerunners is multifold. First of all, to make sure that the timing system is operating properly, because you don't want to send somebody down in competition only to find that it isn't. And secondly, to check the conditions, particularly ice conditions and weather conditions, what the visibility's like, whether the snow is so wet that it just covers your visor and you can't see where you're going. See Sylvia Hoffmann rehearsing her steers. Back into the changing room they go. This is really frustrating for the athletes, for the officials, for the fans, but it's so critical to try and keep your mind focused when you're the driver, when you're the push athletes. The fact that it's snowing doesn't make the track any safer, far from it. So just keeping yourself in that focus zone. Of course, they've warmed up and they will all be just gradually losing heat from their muscles. That's why they're wearing the warm clothing, to try and make sure they stay warm and don't incur any injuries. They have been given a 2-minute warning for the start. And they've had the athletes out on the block twice already. So Sylvia Hoffmann, I know she's got good mental fortitude. Her focus is very impressive, but it's going to need to be in these conditions. Same for Cynthia Appiah, same for everybody, because of course a delay means everybody is delayed, even those who are still out in a parking lot warming up because they're not due to go for another hour. Those that are in the changing room downstairs in the warm, waiting to come up onto the block. It just delays everybody. But when you do an outdoor sport, you do get outdoor weather. And when you do an outdoor winter sport, what are you going to do? So for the third time of asking, Sylvia Hoffmann, Bailey Golden coming to the line. And now, again, you know, 60 seconds to really get yourself fully focused. Look at Hoffmann. So third World Cup start as a driver for Sylvia Hoffmann. Bailey Golden, her second World Cup, made her debut in Altenburg with Keisha Love. She's an Oklahoma State heptathlete. This is Bailey Golden's second ever bobsled race. Start record held by Alana Myers-Taylor and Kerry Jones, 5:43. We're not going to be troubling that today. We're not going to be troubling the track record either, but 5:69, little dink off the zero curve, neatly down into corner 1 and 2 though. Good start from Sylvia Hoffmann. Uphill through corner 3 and 4, coming up to the camera. That's not an optical illusion. Then dropping down into 5, corkscrewing down the hill here, building speed through 6 and into the Kreisel, corner 7. Little dink pushed away in 8, squaring up for corner 9. Nice looking run so far. Thick snow here, everybody's going to have that. You're just very fortunate if some's been cleared away. Whoa, little rocking and rolling. The snow under the runners slows you down a little, but also lubricates the run. 58.70. So that is 3 seconds away from the track record. We had a massive track record yesterday from Francesco Friedrich in the 2-man. Track was faster than it has ever been in history in 50+ years of operation, but today not so. Little high on the exit of the Kreisel. And there you can see that little rock and roll. Beg your pardon, that's out of corner 9. And down here, this is corner 11. Try not to let the sled oscillate too much. Try and keep a relatively smooth path.
Welcome back to Winterberg.
There you go. Winterberg, the Dutch Alps. Its other nickname is Rainiberg. The prevalent weather, not always snowy. Next up for Canada, Cynthia Appiah, 28th World Cup start. Plus 12 as a brakewoman. And Skylar Sieben, her brakewoman, making her 3rd start. Raced in Altenburg and Sigulda. She's a former heptathlete and hurdler from the University of Arizona Wildcats. 5:82, good getaway, nicely off 0, one little square tap. So So slightly slower start than Sylvia Hoffmann. Hence red numbers on the bottom right-hand side, showing that she is second place on the split times. Building speed out of 5, down into the Kreisel. Better speed. Now can she hold it on the way through? Looks like she has, she does. Closing to 200s away. 100th back. This could be very close indeed. She's got slightly better speed. She should be narrowly in front of the line. She's not. Well, there you go. 2 sleds in and we have our first dead heat. It is the nature of this track that dead heats are very common. It's a track that lots of drivers know well. Easy to get down, hard to get down fast for those of you with the bingo card. Again, a little late exit. Out of corner 9 through the, well, it's called corner 10 still, but basically if you get the exit of 9 right, you go straight on to 11. And there is corner 11. So a tie, Sylvia Hoffmann and Cynthia Appiah. Third sled out of the shed, Adele Nicholl of Great Britain, her 6th World Cup start as a driver, and former triple summer Olympian Ashley Nelson behind her. Ashley, a 4x100 sprinter, European bronze medalist in the 100 metres as well. Adele Nicholl with a bad cut on her foot from the runners in Sigulda, and so Ashley Nelson having to push like a shopping trolley. Not only is she pushing it on her own in her very first start, but she's got the dead weight of the driver inside as well. 6:24. Well, the hope will be to try and make a second run. Adele has had some decent results. 10th and 13th this season, and 13th in Sigulda was when she'd run her foot over as well. Badly gashed her foot. Best speed, 5,500 back at the start. A slight lack of acceleration compared to her rivals is going to catch her, but good speed at the bottom as well. Half a second back. I think this might be enough to make the race. Good looking drive from Adele Nicholl. Best speed of all at the bottom, 128.3. And across the line, only 3/10 back. 5,500 back. Kaya Placide and Sean Olsen applauding in the leader's box, and Adele saying to Ashley Nelson, no, not yet, wait till we get there. Speed probably quite a lot lower than it was in training. Well, there you go. What a day for a debut for Ashley Nelson. 3-time summer Olympian, beginning her quest to potentially become a Winter Olympian next year. Well, great lines again from Adele Nicholl. Really nice drive. And there's the Welsh flag for Adele. Welcome to racing in the ice. Ashley Nelson, she's had a bit of a week of it in terms of the weather. Next up, for Canada, Melissa Lotholtz and Leah Walkenden, the North America's Cup champion. Lotholtz, 13th women's bobsleigh race for her as a driver. Leah Walkenden also in her 13th bobsleigh race, not all of them together. 5:71 to get away. 7th in Altenburg, 12th in Sigulda, Melissa. Brushing off the cobwebs after a year away from European tracks, 2 years away from European tracks. Brief hiatus after the run into Beijing. She took a year away from ice, came back last year. 2/10 up, just a couple of hundreds behind the leaders at the start. Fastest start so far still from Sylvia Hoffmann and Bailey Golden. She's in the lead now by 39 hundredths of a second. second best speed. Very nice looking run from Melissa Lottholz, 58.26. 4,400s up on Cynthia Appiah and Sylvia Hoffmann.
Aus Kanada, Melissa Lottholz und Lia Voltin.
Keeps the line just on the low side in 11. That's where you want to be. And a nice exit here into the crossover to 12. Into 13 as well.
I took it, I'm sorry.
Breathless stuff. So 4 sleds down on a snowy morning in Winterberg, and Kim Kalicki with Leonie Fiebig behind her. First race for Leonie since Lake Placid last March. Not well in the first part of the season, but back in harness now. 26th World Cup for Leonie Fiebig. 22 medals in the last 23 World Cups. And Kim Kalicki, the reigning world champion in her 35th women's bobsleigh start. Silver medalist on this track in the past, Kim Kalicki. Let's see if she can get in among the medals as well. Obviously the gold medalist in the World Championship, but in World Cup racing a silver medal. Fastest start, and a good looking drive. Smooth line so far, best speed that we've seen, and she's opening up the margin. Melissa Lottholz is 4,400 ahead of Cynthia Appiah and Sylvia Hoffmann. It looks as though Kim Kalicki is going to be the better part of 3/4 of a second in front. 0.84 up, 57.42. Wow. That is a big, big run from Kim Kalicki. 57.42, 7/10 off the track record in these conditions. Goodness me. Leonie Fiebig back and well, 5:58 start. Kalicki took a silver last time out in Sigulda, a bronze in the season opener in Altenburg. So, Leonie Fiebig's family from nearby Cologne have come to the races. I'm not sure that she was expecting them in these conditions. There you go. Kim Kalicki, the comfortable runaway leader after the first 5 sleds. Next up for Romania, Andreea Grecu. Andreea in her 49th World Cup race as a driver, her 66th in total. Teodora Vlad, World Cup number 24 for her. 5:74 getaway. 4th quickest start. So just a whisker behind Melissa Lottholz, a bit ahead of Cynthia Appiah. Fourth fastest start, but she's driving herself into the top 3. Eighth place in Altenburg, 8th place in Sigulda as well for Andreea Grecu. Little disappointed, I think, with both of those. Altenburg responds well to her driving style. She's previously been a medalist in Sigulda. 58.32. So she is in a tie for 4th place. I beg your pardon, she's ahead of the tie for 4th place. In fact, she's 3,800s ahead of Cynthia Appiah and Sylvia Hoffmann. Well, the sleds who go 1st, 2nd and 3rd on the entry list are outside of the top 10 seeds. So you might expect start draws number 1, 2 and 3 to be outside the top 10 at the end of the run. And at the moment, everybody who's come after the first 3 has gone in front of them. Grecu 7th in the World Cup standings on the left. Theodora Vlad there on the right. Next up, Keisha Love with Azaria Hill behind her. Azaria's 7th World Cup. Made her debut with Keisha, and 4 of her previous 6 races with Keisha Love. She's done a couple with Alana Myers-Taylor. This is the 10th World Cup start for Keisha Love since she arrived in La Plan a couple of seasons ago. Claimed a gold medal then. 5:72. Beg your pardon, that was thinking now of the monobob race. 5:72 getaway. Two bronze medals as a driver, added to her medal haul as a brakewoman, Keisha Love. 1400s behind at the start. Drifting away a little in 3rd place. Closing now, 4700s back. First to second is 8400s, don't forget. But Keisha Love having a very good looking run here. Little skid, you see the snow flying up as the sled whistles by. It settles in the edges of the track, 58.12. Keisha Love, Azaria Hill in 2nd spot after 7 sleds. High on the exit. Seeing a lot of sleds doing that. And then low in 11, way below the drive lines. Comes out, bumps, going into 12. Keisha on the left, Azaria on the right. Next up, Switzerland's Melanie Hasler with Muswama Kambunji behind her. Birthday on Thursday of this week. Muswama turned 29. Melly, 26 years old, and a silver medalist in the monobob race yesterday in very different conditions. 5:61 getaway. 4th in Altenburg, 7th in Sigulda so far for Mel Hasler. It's been a late start to the season, only 2 bobsleigh race weekends before the Christmas New Year break. There'll be a lot of sliding in the next 2 months. Get us all caught up. 1200s back, 2nd best speed, 2nd place on the splits. This is what she was doing yesterday, getting right in amongst them. Fourth best speed in corner 14 across the line, 2900s back. Very good looking run. Previous best on this track in World Cup racing, 7th place. And actually Mel finished 7th in the World Championships in February 24 here as well. She looks pretty happy with that. Muswama loading sideways in the back. Did she slip as she was getting in, or is it just to get her shoulders in? That's her technique. Yeah. That looks like she's done that before. Not the most common loading technique from a push athlete, I have to say, but what works, works. I'm sure the coaches aren't liking that too much. Now then, Alana Myers-Taylor, and behind her, the return of Lolo Jones. So Lolo Jones, 20th World Cup. They were silver medalists here on the 5th of January, 2014. turning the clock back a decade. Alana Myers-Taylor and Lolo Jones. Great to see Lolo back in the team. 5:71, and Alana was saying, just to show that there is life after 40. Alana is 40, Lolo now 42 years old, but returning to sprinting and to bobsleigh, and finding actually that it's not quite as bad as she thought it might be. Third place on the splits from a fourth fastest start. Third best speed in the Kreisel. Still third best speed. It's a top 3 run from Alana Myers-Taylor, 3,400 back. Can she close on Melanie Hasler? No, gap's growing a little. Second best speed at the bottom of the track though, the MUSA sled going well, 5,100 back. 57.93. Lolo Jones really relishing the opportunity to come back, having a lot of fun. Her last World Cup before today, by the way, was in Innsbruck in November 2021. She's had 2 North America's Cup races since, and back at it in the World Cup squad. You can't keep a good pusher down. And nice lines from Alana Myers-Taylor. Knows the track well. 6th in the Worlds, but she's been a winner on this track in the World Cup before. Today, her 98th start as a driver. I beg your pardon, in the World Cup. 15 on the brakes. 83 as a driver. Kaillie Humphries has that beat. 123 World Cups now as a driver, +5 as a brake woman. Emily Renner behind her, 12th World Cup start for Em. Made her debut in Whistler in November 2022. Kaillie Humphries has been here 17 times in World Cup races and only once as a push athlete, so 16 times a driver down here. A winner back in 2012. Fourth best speed at the start, 5:71. That's the same as Alana Myers-Taylor and Lolo Jones. So Kaillie Humphries and Emily Renner starting strong and driving well. Fourth fastest start, best speed. Oh, little skid, 9 to 10, and a double tap is going to take a bit of speed out of the sled, but she's 1100s back. Top speed, faster even than Kim Kalicki from Kaillie Humphries. Blinding run from the American. Well, that little exit off 9 into 10 might just have cost her the lead. That little squirrely slide and the tap, that's a 10th. What a good run. Fourth best start. Deals with a zero curve like the veteran she is. She was racing here before the brand new start building was built, but this skid, the tap in the snow, slows you down. But it's not all over. Kaillie Humphries right in the mix. Third race back after a year away. She only had a baby in the middle of the summer. Kim Kalicki leads from Kaillie Humphries and Melanie Hasler. Interesting stuff. 10 sleds down, 14 to go in the snow in Winterberg. Race 3 of the IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Katy Bahr with Nicole Pichler behind her for Austria. 53rd women's bobsleigh start for Katy Bahr. 5:67 getaway, this is good starting. World Cup champion in the 2021 season, Katy Bahr. Made her debut here in December 2015 in the World Cup as a driver. Nicola Pichler, only her 3rd World Cup. New speed on the back of the sled for Katy Bahr. Nice looking lines. Third at the start, still in third, and second best speed. The track is not slowing down, at least not yet. This is very encouraging for those who are still to leave the dressing room. 1500s back, better speed than anybody at the bottom. Catty Boyle, third at the line, 600s behind Kaylee Humphries. 12th in Altenburg, 5th in Sigulda for the Austrian. And she is in third place at the moment. 2 German sleds still to come. She leaves the block at the same moment her brakewoman starts to move. Trying to get the sled moving as she hits the front handle. Good line there in 11. Yes, it is. Now, our World Championship silver medalist in February, Lara Nolte and Deborah Levy. These are the Olympic champions. Also, Lara Nolte, the World Cup champion last season. 5 World Cups here. Silver, her first time. 4 consecutive golds in World Cup races. In fact, 4 out of 5 of the last World Cup races she's won. 5.49. Really strong starting from Lara Nolte and Deborah Levy. Levy in her 16th World Cup race. Lara Nolte, 37th start in the World Cup for Germany. 1900s becomes 2800s. This is a flying run. Best speed off the fastest start. You would expect that. Outstarted Kim Kalicki by 900s. She's nearly 4 tenths up. It's almost a tenth at every clock. Great looking lines down through the labyrinth. 4400s up. Hits 130 kilometers an hour, and across the line, half a second clear. 56.94. 1.2 seconds off the all-time track record that this pair set in March 2024 in the World Championships. That was without the snow. This track is in excellent condition underneath the white stuff. No question at all about that. So Lara on the left, Deborah on the right-hand side with a very handsome lead already. So the crowd battling the snow up at the start, along with the athletes, as we get to our world champion from February 24, Lisa Buchwitz. Kira Lipperheide behind her. Kira's 13th World Cup start, 16th as a driver for Buchwitz, with 17 very successful starts as a brakewoman. 5:54 getaway. She won yesterday's monobob race. No question that Lisa Buchwitz knows how to get down this track fast. Just 500s behind Nolte and Levy at the start. Needs to stop losing time, stop the bleeding. 5 to 10 to 1300, second best speed in the Kreisel. Nolte was fastest. Nolte set the top speed all the way down. Third best out of the Kreisel. Second place, still on the splits. Kim Kalicki currently second, 4800s back. Into second now, 3100s back is Lisa Buchwitz. $57.25 for Lisa Buchwitz and Kira Lipperheide. They lie in second place. into the Kreisel. Maybe just a little high on the first pressure, coming in slightly offline and out of corner 9. 9-10 transition. Well, she didn't hit the wall, but she did have a skid through the snow, which exaggerates that braking effect. Nice line in 11. Looks pretty happy with that. Top 3 from Germany, then Kaylee Humphries, Katie Bile and Melly Hasler. As we get to Kelly van Petegem with Jenty de Cler behind her. Second World Cup start for Jenty, made her debut in Sigulda. Kelly van Petegem, 5th World Cup start as a driver, 1 as a brakewoman for the woman who is now her coach, Anna Nieuwenhuis, another new mum. 6th in Sigulda after 14th in Altenburg, and the Sigulda race is her World Cup best. Decent zero curve from Kelly, the 5:77 start. She had a good run yesterday in the monobob as well. It looks like she's got her head around this Winterberg track. Closest to the Low Countries, so it's, quote, home turf for the Dutch and the Belgians here. Makes it very much easier for friends and family to come and watch, and they do in numbers. 12th at the start, 7th on the splits for Kelly van Petegem. Ooh, hard hit there in 13. Second fastest speed, 7th at the line. There's a very happy Anne on the left, under all of that mountain of warm clothing. 57, 82, 8800s back. She's ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor. She's ahead of Keisha Love, Melissa Lotholtz, Andrea Grecu, Cynthia Appiah. Drivers who've got much more experience than she does, or at least some more experience than she does in some cases, but that's a nice looking run. And again, although the snow is still coming down, the track is holding up. Seventh place for Kelly van Petegem and Jenty de Cler. Next up for France, Margot Bock and Carla Sénéchal, the original duo. 17th World Cup race for Margot, 11th for her long-time brakewoman Carla, alternating the brakewomen, keeping them all race fit. 11th in Altenburg, only 14th in Sigulda for Margot. Not a track she knows as well. 5:71 getaway. So that is the 7th fastest start. Just seen from Belgium's Kelly van Petegem. A good drive can bring you firmly into the top 10. She's already improved on her start position, up to 6th place on the splits. Out of 6 into the Kreisel. Second best speed. I don't want to say it, but it does look like the track is actually speeding up. Still lots of snow in the straight there, in the uncovered sections. 4th place run, 6th best speed. Is this ahead of Kaylee Humphries? It is by 100th of a second. Margot Bock is 4th, Bruno Mijon on the left, Max Robert on the right. Impressed with that. Previous World Cup best on this track, a 10th place finish for Margot Bock. Finished 12th in the World Championships last February. 4th place in St. Moritz, her best World Cup result. And she has banged in a top 4 first heat. Now, what the conditions are like towards the end of Heat 2, if there is indeed a Heat 2, and if the weather closes in, there may not be. That is a potential option. But if we get this heat done, then she's in a great position with a 4th place run. So, what does that mean for everybody else? Well, it gives them hope at least, rather than trepidation. Georgeta Popescu, Youth Olympic gold medalist 2020, with Antonio Sabu behind her. Antonia also competed in the Youth Olympics in 2020 as a driver, then turned to braking and made her debut here with Georgeta last year. This is her 5th World Cup, the brake woman. Georgeta 22nd in the World Championships. And off a 15th best start. Should be able to improve on that here today. #12th best speed, so still 15th on the splits, but she's got more speed on board than a number of the sleds behind her, or who've already gone down. 11th best speed. Ooh, look out there, that was a little rocking and rolling. 13th on the splits. This will put her ahead as Cynthia Appiah closing in on Andrea Grecu. Does not get to her, but she is ahead of Cynthia Appiah. The Romanian sled's 12th, disappointing for Grecu, and 13th, impressive for Popescu. One World Cup here before for Georgeta. She was 16th, 22nd in the World Championships. And her best result was Altenburg last year, a 10th place finish. She's been 16th and 15th so far this season. 13th place first run. That was the late exit that caused a little bit of worry. Now off to get the scabbards and move the sled out of the way as we prepare for the first of our 2 Aussie sleds. Former brake woman Sarah Blizzard, with Hayley Sylvester behind her. Blizzard in her 2nd World Cup start as a driver. Hayley Sylvester makes her debut. Sprinter for Victoria in Australia, her home state. She's had 1 Europe Cup race. That was in Innsbruck just before Christmas. Those who weren't racing in Sigulda went there. 5:95 getaway. So Sarah made her driving debut in Altenburg, 17th place finish. Nice, smooth run so far. That's what this track needs. You've got to be gentle with the inputs. Everything's got to flow. It's got to be gradual. 16th at the start, behind Cynthia Appiah and Sylvia Hoffman, but ahead of Adele Nicol at the moment. And Adele sitting in and having a slower, snowy track at the start, definitely not helping her chances. Up to 13th on the splits, and look at that, 8th best speed at the bottom for Sarah Blizzard. Ina Blizzard, 58.34. Pumping the air. 10 World Cup starts as a brake woman for Brianna Walker, then headed off to learn driving. And now here she is in her 2nd World Cup as a driver. Got the steer in early on the 0 curve. Got a square tap and a little bit of a skid, but not bad. And again, maybe a little more conservative than some of them, not really hang it out there in 9. There's Sarah on the right, and newcomer Hayley Sylvester on the left, loving her life and trying to raise the funds to continue in the winter sport. Linda Wyszewski with Klaudia Adamek behind her. Klaudia in her 2nd World Cup start. Linda's 8th. Made her debut in La Plagne, December 2023. She's done 2 World Championships in St. Moritz and here in Winterberg last year, Linda. She was 15th. Finished in 19th place in Altenburg, and then went and did Europe Cup in Innsbruck. Innsbruck has been remodelled, and Bobsleigh goes there in a couple of weeks' time, so doing the Europe Cup races, a number of the athletes think is going to give them a bit more knowledge of the new track. 5:62 the getaway. 5th fastest start. So it looks like the wind has dropped as well as the snow. Great opportunity for Linda Wyszewski. Track is running well. She had a very good start. All of these sleds coming now that Great Britain's Adele Nichol would perhaps have been competing in front of had she been healthy and able to push. Going to be ahead of her. 5th place run all the way here for Linda Wyszewski. Across the line, 57.57. Now, you may think, and I'm sure a lot of athletes who went early will also think, well, this isn't really fair. The track is clearly much quicker. The snow has pretty much stopped. Looks like the wind has died as well, but that is just the way it is. And the boot might be on the other foot in the second heat. With weather in the winter, as in the summer, there are no guarantees, because they don't all race together like you would in, say, an athletics race. Then they don't all have the same weather. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. But you also have to be able to drive it. You could give me this weather and I'd still be hopeless and probably crashing everywhere. Brianna Walker with Chiara Rodingius behind her. Bree's 25th start in World Cup as a driver. Had a great race yesterday in the monobob. 5:61 the getaway, 4th fastest. Knows this track well. 5 World Cups here. 13th, 9th, 7th, 8th and 5th 2 seasons ago. She finished 5th in the World Championships as well. 4th best start and clear, clean conditions for most of the run. 5th best speed for the Aussies. Top speed for Brianna Walker into corner 9. Little rattle and a tap. So this is quicker even than Kaylee Humphries was, quicker than Lara Nolte was. But not now, only the 8th best speed at the bottom, but still top 4. Slots in behind the 3 Germans in 4th place. Coach Pierre Luders. Just when you think you've seen it all. See the Dutch boys down there doing a lot of heavy lifting for some of their partner teams, helping out the Aussie girls. They're nice boys, aren't they? Again, a little late off 9, slap and a skid in 10 through the snow. Takes a 10th away. She's actually only 600ths out of the medals behind Kim Kalicki. There's Brianna Walker and Chiara Rodingius behind her. 3 to go, and only 1 place left in the race. And the likelihood is that Canada's Bianca Ribby, with her knowledge and experience, might well get that. With Niamh Hockey behind her, both of them starting their 15th World Cup race, although strictly for Bianca Ribby, who started one as a brakewoman, her 16th. 5:75 getaway. Bianca returning to World Cup action after missing the first part of the season. Driving debut was in Whistler in November 2022. And their last World Cup in Lake Placid in March. Fifth best speed, from 15th at the start up to 10th on the splits already. Best speed of all. Nice looking lines from Bianca Ribby. 8th on the splits off the 15th best start. Top speed at the bottom and across the line in 7th place. Lyndon Rush on the left, Jessie Lumsden on the right. Well, there was nothing wrong once they got sat down. They might be shaking their heads that it was only the 15th best run or 15th best start. Might also be shaking their heads that the other Canadian sleds went earlier. Cynthia Appiah is tied for 18th. Melissa Lottholz is in 14th. Not the fastest of getaways for Bianca Ribby and Niamh Hockey. But the duo who, well, Bianca was 9th in the World Championships, the duo have driven themselves up into a tie for 7th with Poland's Linda Wyszewski. Niamh doing the heavy lifting, apparently. Now then, two debutantes. Deborah Annan should have made her World Cup debut in Altenburg, did not start. Now should be making her World Cup debut here. And behind her, Julia Maria Leuenberger, also making her debut. Raced in the World Championships and Junior Worlds and has 6 Europe Cup races behind her. Deborah Annan, 19th in the World Championships here. The 22-year-old finished in 4th place in the monobob yesterday. 15th best start, 5:75, exactly what we've just seen from Bianca Ribby of Canada. Nice smooth lines from Deborah Annan. We saw her dad, Martin Annan, at the track watching yesterday. Was absolutely thrilled with how well his 22-year-old daughter is doing. Nice looking run as well. 15th up to 11th. She's not going to catch Bianca Ribby, but it should be a top 10 run. Is she going to be ahead of teammate Melanie Hassler? She hits 1:30 at the bottom as well. She is ahead of Melanie Hassler. She's in 10th. Well, not entirely unexpected that she can drive this track. She showed yesterday on her own that she can do exactly that, and she can start a sled. So Deborah Annan, Junior World Championship bronze medalist, Junior European Championship under-23 silver medalist, with Julia Maria Leuenberger, her brakewoman. The future is bright, I think, for Deborah Annan and for Swiss sliding. They've got two good drivers on their hands. They're 10th and 11th. And finally, for the Netherlands, Lauren Jolo. The 21-year-old makes her World Cup debut after debuting in the World Championships here in February. And Hannah Cranen behind her. The 24-year-old brakewoman, 1 Europe Cup race. That was in Innsbruck in December. This is her 2nd bobsleigh race. Well, Lauren, relative newcomer as well. 9 Europe Cup races, Junior Worlds, and the Worlds here in February last year. This is actually her 12th official race. Little tap going into 0. And the start, 5.80. Well, 21 sleds down, and that means no second heats for Adele Nicol. And Lauren Jolo will have to beat Sylvia Hoffman and Cynthia Appiah, or tie with them, to make it into the race. At the moment, 17th on the splits, bottom right of your screen. 20th best speed. She's slipping out to 18th. She is in the race at the moment. She can't drop below 18th on the splits unless she's 19th. Oh, and she's over! Track workers rushing down to try and stop the sled sliding backwards. It's not such a steep outrun. They're on the shallow part. And the first concern will be to just stabilise the sled and try and allow the athletes to wriggle themselves out. Well, she was on target to make the second heat. Out of 11, brings the nose down a little too early. And centrifugal forces pushing her up. Look, up, 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 almost inverted there. She gets up onto the lip. And then from 12... well, that's 9 into 10, gets a big hit there. But this is coming down out of 11 too early and then sent right up to the roof. That's out of her hands at that stage. Nearly comes back up into 12, but not quite. Well, both athletes up, and that is very good news. Took a bit of a bang on the wall from their heads. And Lauren with Hannah Kranen just checking to make sure she's okay. Driver is out, looks despondent, but they are okay. At the top of the pile, well, talent will out. Lauren Nolte and Deborah Levy, the Olympic champions, lead from Lisa Buchwitz and Kira Lipperheider. Kim Kalicki and Leonie Fiebig in third place. Yes, the gaps are big, but the top three might well be the top three that you would have written down anyway. So there you go. 3/10 first to second, another 1700s back to third, then 600s to fourth, 500s to fifth, 100 to sixth, a tie for seventh, just 300s back. And behind them, 300s back, is Katty Bile in ninth. 200s behind her is Deborah Annan in 10th. And then a couple of little 10, 1100th gaps before we get into the vacant spaces for Keisha Love, Melissa Lottholtz, Andrea Grecu. Those who went in the first 10 sleds probably really struggled. Sarah Blizzard, Georgetta Popescu, ahead of Cynthia Appiah and Sylvia Hoffman. Adele Nicol and Lauren Jolo do not get a second run, but the other 20 sleds do, and that should be at 10:30. Well, that's what time we'll be back, so I expect you to be there as well. That's 09:30 Greenwich Mean Time, 04:30 Eastern. And that is in 30 minutes and 20 seconds from now. We'll see you then.
Zweiter Lauf, denke ich. Vielleicht ändert sich was in Sachen Podium.
Ja, das ist ja so ein Tag, also wenn wir jetzt heute auch so mit Stehfahrt und so, das heißt, die